Welcome everybody to the Teaching Genius podcast. We got Miss Kemba Lodescar, a teacher at PS 108Q. All right. And we're going to start with Miss Egypt. How you doing?
Good.
All right. Ask your first question, baby.
How long have you been a teacher?
Well, hi, Egypt. It's so good to be here. So I've been a teacher for 5 years now. Could you imagine that? 5 long years. I know to some teachers that's not long. That's just getting started. But for me, that's long. So yes, 5 years.
Okay. So now can I ask my second question?
Yes, go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about your career?
All right. So I am the fun teacher. I actually teach theater. I don't teach math or English or anything like that. So the fun thing about my career is teaching theater and seeing my kids move from being shy and reserved to being outspoken and being confident. I think theater is a really good tool that helps them do that. So I think that's the best thing. That's my favorite thing of all time, just teaching theater and having that tool to allow students to become, confident people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What is one thing in education that you would change if you were in charge of the system?
All right. So one thing that I would definitely change, Egypt, is equity in schools. A lot of schools do not have the resources that other schools have. So less resources means less access and less opportunity, right? So a lot of schools don't have that access. And so what I would do is I would change that. I would really try to bring that equity so that every student has the same opportunity and no student is kind of like disadvantaged.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing right there.
Yeah.
We
I
can get
think so.
resources moved around so that everybody could at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very important, especially for our Black and Brown students.
Yes. I mean, they claim that that's the case, but we all know that's not true.
Right. Ooh.
Yes.
Not true. Yes, it's really not true.
Next question. Can you tell me one of your fondest memories while working with your students?
Yeah, so I could tell you about one really fond memory. I have this student who he was labeled as having every disorder under the sun. Like, I don't know if you know, Egypt, what ADHD is, students who are labeled with disorders like they're not able to read or they're not able to sit still, things like that.
Yeah,
And you know about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's really hard for them. So this particular student, he's had the cops, the police come in for him like a couple times. And I'm telling you, this was 3rd grade. Right. And he started to come to my theater class and we were doing Beauty and the Beast. We were getting ready for a show. And one thing I noticed about him is this little boy started to learn so many lines. He was Lumiere. I don't know if do you know Beauty and the Beast? Do you know that show?
Yeah.
So Lumiere is the one with the candlestick, right? He's the candlestick. He learned so many lines. He was able to perform and do such an amazing job. And they labeled him as having all these disorders. Right. And so my fondest memory is just watching him. I stood there watching him perform and tears were just rolling down my eyes because it's how, the education system, we have all of these tests and standardized tests and state tests. And if you don't perform to the standards, you go to a certain school, right? But kids have other gifts, right? And talents. And so this was really a wonderful moment for me when I saw him soar in the area of theater.
They say if you test a lizard to fly, they're going to fail every time.
Exactly. I love that.
So the beautiful thing is like the world that we live in, there's so many different options for you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
And for everybody to open up, we got to find a way to kind of just bring that out of you. Like the best thing that makes you who you are. Like everybody has a gift. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a matter of what is your gift, finding that. Just running through that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Chappelle, but everybody can't be Steve Jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes.
We gotta We got some gotta give, you know, some gotta give. All right.
Something has to
Last
give.
question?
Yeah.
All
What
right.
advice would you give to your younger self when you were in school training for this field?
So the advice I would give my younger self is to not try to be a superhero. Like on Abbott Elementary, you know that teacher, she tries to do everything. My first year of teaching, that's what I tried to do. And it led to burnout.
Right.
So I would not do that. I would just, do what I could do, just get experience, hone in on my skills, and then try to reach as much as I could, but not to do too much in the beginning, because that led to burnout and wasn't successful anyway. So just taking your time.
So let me go a little deeper into that, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like the burnout, because that's one of the biggest issues we have right now today.
Right.
There's a job gap in general. People don't want to work, right? So they say. I think it's a money issue more than anything else, right? Because if you give me $1 million to shovel poop, I would be shoveling poop, right?
I might be shoveling poop myself, and I hate poop, but I would be shoveling.
Right. But when they talk about burnout, right? Do you feel, just go into that just a little bit more, like one thing that you see consistent between you and some of your peers?
Right. I think for teachers, they expect a lot. And I think personally, I put that on myself, because you're trying to prove a point in your first years. When you're a teacher that's been teaching for years, that doesn't bother you. You know the ropes, you understand things, but especially in the first years, you're new, and the principals could kind of take advantage of that. I'm not saying my administration did. My administration is amazing. But you just want to prove that I'm here, I'm a teacher, I want to reach everyone, and you try to do too much. So that's where the burnout kind of came. But in some other instances, I know of schools and administration that give so much to their teachers, and teachers don't have the time to recuperate. I'm telling you, I'm theater, but I see other teachers in the general education. It's grading papers, it's doing this, doing that, the testing, it is a lot. It is a lot. Personally, I feel like
our job turns into 24 hours.
Yeah, it easily could. You know what? It really easily could. I have a strategy though, that I do everything during my prep and my lunch, so I don't bring work home. Beautiful. Because bringing work home is a thing. It used to be a thing.
I heard there with systems, right? You have to set up something. You have to set up in place. So these are your fail stops. This is where this get done. This is where this gets done. And now we're moving. We're functioning.
Absolutely. Yes. But it's fun. It's very rewarding. Like I mentioned before, teaching is one of those things where you get to see people like Egypt, right? One day she's at this stage, the next day you're looking at her like, oh, where has the time gone? And you had an impact in that life. So it's very rewarding.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, we want to thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
All right. Remember, guys, like, subscribe, share with your friends. All right.
Thank you for the opportunity, Egypt.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Wonderful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.